Man, 1862 is the Union's year. We get the Battle of Pea Ridge where the Union takes over Arkansas. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And Johnny, this week is going to open up on the 7th of March with the Battle of Pea Ridge.
What?
Elkhorn Tavern.
Battle of Pea Ridge.
Pea Ridge.
How'd that go?
Pretty well for the Union forces. So last
that.
week we left off with Confederates attempting to push out Union positions around Fayetteville, Arkansas on Sugar Creek. Check out our special episode that we did this week on that battle in its entirety, so I won't go into it in detail, but a brief recap. The Federals were expecting a frontal attack from the south, but when the Confederates see that that's a way too good of a defended position, they try to move north and attack from the north, which their movements are effectively caught by loyal Arkansanians who go up to General Curtis and say, hey, rebels are coming. You might want to move your forces north.
Some of them good Southerners.
Hey, the good Southerners. So he moves his forces north. This battle, oddly, has the Confederates aided by Native Americans outnumbering the entrenched Union. All day, both sides gain and lose ground in heavily contested fighting that will lead to Confederate Generals Benjamin McCulloch and Brigadier General James McIntosh dying on the field. So two Confederate generals die on the field. Yikes. By the end of the first day of fighting, Union forces have strengthened their entrenchments and are ready to fight for the next day. Yeah. There's also unconfirmed claims that Confederate Indians have scalped the dead. So, yep. And with all this going,
is that
unconfirmed claims.
Is that a war crime, though? I mean, officially?
I don't know if that's officially a war crime or not.
So that on the books, or?
I mean, I guess if they're scalping them while they're alive, that would probably not be good.
Sure, yeah, that's a war crime, yeah. But what you do with the dead body?
They're just giving them a haircut, making them look pretty for their caskets, right? While all this is going on, Union forces on the Potomac under General McClellan have finally started moving towards Johnston's forces around Manassas, the same location that we had that
Bull Run, right?
Fight last year. Yeah, Bull Run.
Yeah, that went well.
That did not go well for the Union
forces.
Hey,
maybe round 2 will be better. Who knows?
Well, Johnston's actually going to pull his forces out of the area and build up around Fredericksburg because he's outnumbered. He says, screw this, I'm out.
Okay, that's
on the 8th of March. Yeah, on the 8th of March, Johnny, it opens up with the west, in the west, with Union General Curtis proving victorious over Confederate General Van Dorn at the Battle of Pea Ridge. Curtis was able to push Confederates off of Pea Ridge, and they will retreat towards Huntsville. Curtis's forces of 11,000 suffer 203 killed, 980 wounded to Van Dorn's inaccurate reported numbers of 14,000 engaged with 600 reported killed and wounded with 200 captured. But the reports in the field actually put these total casualty with like killed, wounded, and captured well above 2,000. So
they're just making up the numbers now?
Yeah,
they're fudging the numbers, trying to make themselves look good?
Yeah, he's making up numbers, trying to make himself look good. And this is unfortunately, though, a little bit where the good news is going to end on this day, Johnny, because in Virginia at Hampton Roads, the CSS Virginia, the slow-moving ironclad vessel that was made on the hull of the Merrimack, remember we sunk that when the Confederates took over,
and then
they brought it back up and put some iron plates on it.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, a whole thing there.
Yeah, it's gonna come out and it's gonna start doing some damage here when it rams and sinks the USS Cumberland and then runs aground the USS Congress, which is gonna surrender. So we've got 2 Union boats in the blockade that are now gone. That's not good. The Virginia is actually also able to damage the Minnesota before departing the field to await the light of the next day and hope for more damage here.
Jiminy Christmas. All right, can we send our big metal boat down?
And you're right on the money there, Johnny, because all hope is not lost. The USS Monitor is on the way with reports that it's going to be there in the morning to engage the CSS Virginia.
CSS Virginia, you are hosed.
Good news here, Johnny. Union forces are actually going to be able to occupy Leesburg, Virginia, and Lincoln is going to issue his War Order number 2, ensuring the defensive force will always be kept defending Washington while the Union advances into Virginia. So he's basically telling...
so War Order number 2 is I need bodyguards at all time.
Yes, that's War Order number 2.
Great.
And on the 9th, Johnny, we have the Battle of the Ironclads, also known as the Battle of Hampton Roads. Check out our special that we did on that one a little bit ago. So link in the description below for both the Battle of Pea Ridge and the Battle of Hampton Roads.
Now, if I remember that special, there's a whole lot of shooting at each other.
And a whole lot of nothing happening. You are right, Johnny.
They both made bulletproof boats, and they were
bulletproof boats. The USS Monitor is able to make it to Hampton Roads, although it did almost sink several times on the way because
the ocean's
the most seaworthy thing in stormy ocean waters.
Ocean's a terrifying place. I mean, if you've not been out on the ocean on a boat, first of all, don't. But it's horrifying. The waves are bigger than you.
The waves are bigger than you
by lots.
So the Battle of the Ironclads is a multi-hour-long battle where literally both ships fire round after round, just bouncing off each other. And part of the problem here, at least for the Union side, part of the problem is that the USS Monitor's 2 large guns were not being loaded with a proper powder charge. They're actually being underloaded for what they were supposed to be.
Now, why?
So they weren't really giving themselves the best opportunity to punch through the Virginia iron there. So
was that intentional to save supplies, or
no? That was
just
that was
a miscalculation.
Them unsure of how much it should have really.
They
been
didn't know how
when
much they could do.
Like it could have. Yeah, they were definitely underloading those charges.
Mm.
After several hours.
Do you think? But if they properly load, do you think it would have made a difference, or is the Virginia still going to be pretty?
It's probably. I mean, they're probably not a lot of difference. No,
but it would have given it a better chance anyway.
It would have given it a better chance
at the very least.
At least to maybe pop some of those rivets and knock some of those plates off.
Yeah.
After several hours of fighting, a lucky round does hit the Monitor's pilot house, which is where the captain sits and everybody's steering and guiding the ship. It does injure the eye of Lieutenant John Warden, who is the commander of the boat. As the Monitor temporarily disengages for Warden to I've got a splinter in my eye. Can we please get this hunk of wood out? The CSS Virginia is going to leave the battlefield to attend to its own damage on its ship.
Wait, so the ships went to their corners.
Yeah, both ships go to their corners. The Monitor does tug back out to continue the fight, but the Virginia does not come back out. So the Monitor we win.
Was there a smaller black and white ship that came and said, "Hey, you're going to have to get back in or you're out"?
There should have been.
1, 2, 3.
The CSS Virginia also has a very underperforming steam engine because that's what they could get, and it's not going. It's a very slow. They're not drag racing in these boats. Either of these boats, they're not.
We talked about when we talked about the building of the ship. We talked about their top speed, and it was like 3 knots or something. It was something ridiculously slow.
It's a very casual.
Yeah, it's they're not going anywhere in a hurry. They're a big metal ship, and they'll get there when they get there.
They get there when they get there. The battle does end in a draw, regardless of both sides in their newspapers claiming massive victories. Although again, for all you people at home who are like, I'm just a blue coat, and I don't give credit where the CSS Virginia won. I mean, they sunk a Union boat the day before,
but they went to their corner and then didn't come back.
Yeah, they didn't come back, but
so they lost. Hey, have you ever seen a boxing match, Tommy?
If they don't come back, they lose. Yeah, you're right.
They got counted out.
But really, Johnny, at the end of the day, it is a Union victory, as the Monitor on the scene is able to keep the CSS Virginia pretty much stuck in Hampton Roads and not venture out to wreak havoc on the Union blockade.
So if nothing else,
after the day before's battle, the CSS Virginia doesn't do anything else.
So what they did basically was they distracted the bully from being able to just run through and sink all of our ships.
Pretty much.
Because they were just going to go one to the other, just keep ramming them or shooting them or whatever.
Ramming and shooting. Yeah, ramming them and shooting.
So It got it in a little petty fight, distracted it, and kept a lot of our boys safe.
Kept a lot of our boys safe, you're right. On the ground in Virginia, Johnny, Johnson is going to set up a new defensive line around the Rappahannock Station on the Rappahannock River. He is going to abandon the city of Centerville itself. Union forces will come across the abandoned camps and scant supplies to be found and say, that's a good sign for us. Like, they abandoned the city, the camps are still sort of intact, and they have no supplies, so they probably don't actually have any supplies to begin with. This is becoming a theme in this war that the South...
They don't have anything.
Doesn't have what they need to actually continue a war.
Yeah, good God, that's... our plan's working.
Yeah, right? Now, after a week of 2 big battles so far already this week, this is big. This is a big week.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
The 10th of March finally calms down with no real action to report on any of the fronts. It's actually a calm day. Everybody's like, hey,
thank goodness.
Can I just take a breather for a second?
Yeah.
We've had a good week. Let's just stop.
Yeah, enjoy Mario Day.
On the 11th, Lincoln is continuing with his getting his hands dirty as a general and issue War Order Number 3, which officially relieves General George McClellan. You gotta wait. He's going to officially relieve General George McClellan from his post as General-in-Chief of the Federal Armies. He does, however, still maintain command over the Army and the Department of the Potomac. So McClellan at this point was overall command of all Union forces, and now he's been withdrawn from that. You're not doing anything. You suck. We're still not going to completely fire you, but we're half firing.
Did that need to be a war order, or is he just getting war order happy? Because that seems like just a regular
write a note
thing that the commander-in-chief would do is fire or demote or replace their generals that aren't performing appropriately.
Well, it's a war.
Instead, he's like war order.
I think he just likes war order.
Well, he does want to be a dictator, so.
This war order is also going to establish Major General Halleck as the head of the Department of the Missouri, Kansas, and portions of Ohio. So he takes these 3 different departments. He's going to merge them into one called the Department of the Mississippi.
Now, so wait, Ohio,
Missouri, and Kansas. Portions of Ohio, not all of Ohio, but portions of Ohio, Missouri, and Kansas.
Probably down by the Ohio River because it runs to the.
Maybe
Mississippi.
This is now the Department of the Mississippi.
There's ignoring Illinois and Indiana there.
Yeah, we're ignoring Illinois.
A little bit closer than Ohio.
Probably a little bit to Mississippi. Anyways, with another department being created in addition to the Mississippi is the Mountain in Virginia region in West Virginia, known as the Mountain Department. So basically, this is the western portion of Virginia. It has its
up
own
in
department.
Appalachia there.
Yep. It's going to be headed by good old General Fremont, the guy who fucked up Missouri and freed the slaves.
Which, I mean,
by Lincoln.
Well done.
Well, yes, well done, but you can't do that. Well,
right.
Fremont was very, he had his wife fight his battles for him, which, don't get me wrong, my wife fights my battles for me too, but, he had his wife fight his battle. I'm only a lieutenant, not a general. He had his wife fight his battles for him, and so he got demoted and pulled out of the Missouri department because he screwed that up real bad. Yeah. And now he's being put in command of the Mountain department.
Yeah, because instead of trying to find new people, it's just you just continue to recycle and reuse all of your old ones that didn't work out.
Maybe
his problem was he's not a river guy, he's a mountain guy. So all right, out of the Mississippi. Into the mountains.
You might be right there, Johnny. And instead of all these departments generals reporting to a single general, they're actually going to report to a Secretary of War. So, that's
is that a new?
No, that's always been. It's a cabinet position. So they're just directly reporting to the Secretary of War as opposed to reporting to a general. Higher.
Just cutting out a middleman, or what are we doing there?
Four-star general. Cutting out a middleman, I guess, yeah. Because McClellan sucks, and we have to get rid of McClellan. That's the solution.
So the whole reorganization of the United States Army is based on
McClellan not doing anything at all for 6 months. And on the Confederate side, Confederate forces underneath Stonewall Jackson are going to withdraw on the 11th from Winchester, leaving burned supplies in their wake. So they can't carry everything, so their solution so the Union doesn't get it is to burn it. I'd probably figure out a way to carry it.
I would find a way.
You don't have enough to go around, and you're now
they are burning their own supplies. Now, Stonewall Jackson, first off, top 10 nicknames.
That's a good nickname.
That's a good. It sucks it's for the bad guys, but it's a good nickname.
It's a good nickname.
Burning their own supplies.
Not so good. Maybe we should call him Burning Jackson. I don't know.
Maybe we should call him a traitor and they should lock him up. Because he's fighting for the North at this point. I mean, thank you.
Yeah. He's a traitor to the traitors. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, the Confederates should be enraged
it's one of those double
by
negatives.
those actions. But instead, because I guess they like traitors. They elected one.
On the 12th, Johnny, Union federal naval forces are going to occupy Jacksonville, Florida. I feel like this might just be a vacation spot. They're just like,
they're sick of the winter.
We've been on a boat for a while. It's been a cold winter.
Like, it's been second, and we're getting into second winter now too. We had our 1 week of spring, and now second winter's coming. They're like, all right, well, I'm out of here for that. Gonna go to Jacksonville, Florida. What's in Jacksonville, Florida? Swamps?
Probably. I don't know.
Alligators?
I've never been down to Jacksonville, so I don't know what Jacksonville's like.
Good God. Most of Florida is just swamps and gators.
Pretty much, yeah. I bet you there's at least
a couple beaches.
There. Yeah. And this long, eventful week, Johnny, is going to finally come to an end on the 13th of March when McClellan will change his war plan for reasons and not advance on the Confederate forces at the Rappahannock, but try to sneak around them by moving by boat up the York and James River and threaten Richmond from the peninsula.
Wait.
Because that makes sense.
He just tried bypassing an entire...
Yeah, he's like, I'm just going to not attack them, and I'm going to go threaten Richmond and hope that they surrender. You're
right. Yes, sneaking by in a boat up a river. You're the one that we give up.
It seems like at this point, McClellan is going to make any excuse he can find to not engage. Well, I couldn't move before because we didn't have the right size boats.
Is it fear? Is he afraid of conflict and battle?
The good news is I don't report to McClellan, so I don't have to say anything to him at all or kiss butt or any of that kind of stuff.
I mean, what's he going to do to you if you don't? If you talk shit about him, he's not going to do anything to you.
I'm going to go ahead and say that he needs to grow a pair and figure out what he's doing and actually get you outnumber them.
Man, shit or get off the pot.
Just hit him. But no, we're going to go this weird long detour sneak path to threaten Richmond and hope that maybe they just surrender and don't fight. I don't know. Whatever.
Man. Get the hell out of here, McClellan.
I guess we'll have to see what happens with McClellan next week. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoy Civil War in Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight, where we talk about all kinds of fun things like Civil War in Hindsight specials like the Battle of Pea Ridge and the Battle of the Ironclads, or Samuel Colt's weird secret love child brother murder scheme.